Queen Letizia and King Felipe VI of Spain had planned their summer with the precision and secrecy that comes naturally to monarchs who balance intense public scrutiny with the desire for private moments of respite. Their calendars had been cleared, security arrangements discreetly made, and for a brief period, the king and queen could step away from the constant demands of protocol, state affairs, and public appearances. This was meant to be a time of quiet reflection, of family closeness, and of much-needed rest. But on a serene summer morning, as the waves whispered against the distant shores and the royal couple shared what should have been a carefree breakfast, a phone call shattered the calm. It was not the kind of call any friend wishes to receive, and for Letizia and Felipe, it was a call that carried both personal anguish and immediate consequence. Their dear friend, the beloved Mallorcan singer-songwriter Jaime Anglada, was gravely ill. The words spoken over the line were brief yet heavy with urgency. Within hours, the king and queen's vacation ceased to exist. Suitcases were closed without the usual careful folding, motorcades were summoned, and the quiet retreat transformed into a flurry of departure. In moments like this, royal titles and ceremonial crowns mean little. What remains is the beating heart of friendship and loyalty. For those who know the story, Jaime Anglada is not merely a name in Spanish music, he is a figure intertwined with the royal couple's private life. Known for his raspy voice, poetic lyrics, and warm personality, Anglada has been more than an entertainer to the royals. He has been a confidant, a dinner companion, and in quieter times, a friend who could make them laugh away the pressures of statehood. His connection with Queen Letizia in particular dates back to her days as a journalist, when she was carving her own path in the media world. Music was one of the common threads in their friendship. Letizia admired his artistry, his unpretentious nature, and his ability to tell stories through song that felt both intimate and universal. Felipe, though by nature more reserved, grew to appreciate Anglada's sincerity and the grounded way he navigated fame. So when the news of his illness reached them, it pierced not just their sense of empathy, but also their own carefully guarded circle of trust. The decision to cut short their vacation was instantaneous. Aides scrambled to coordinate the royal jet, security services recalculated routes, and in a rare departure from protocol, the palace issued a swift yet understated statement confirming their return to Madrid due to a personal matter of great importance. The Spanish press quickly pieced together the connection, and by midday, headlines blazed across television screens and news portals. Letizia and Felipe rushed back to Spain amid Jaime Anglada's health crisis. But behind the headlines lay a far more human story. In the royal motorcade that sped from the private airstrip toward the capital, the atmosphere was quiet but charged. Letizia's gaze was fixed on the passing landscapes, but her mind was elsewhere, on hospital corridors, on whispered updates, and on memories of laughter shared over meals in Majorca. Felipe, his hand resting gently over hers, shared the same unspoken worry. Jaime Anglada's career, spanning decades, had not always been an easy road. Known for shunning the commercial trappings of the industry, he remained fiercely independent, often performing in intimate venues where he could connect directly with his audience. His friendship with the royal couple had never been flaunted for public attention. Instead, it thrived in private dinners, charity events, and rare moments when music and monarchy intersected away from the cameras. Now, that bond was tested in the most profound way possible. The gravity of the illness had united not only the royal couple but also Anglada's vast network of friends, fans, and fellow musicians. Social media began to swell with messages of support. Hashtags bearing his name trended across Spain, blending with expressions of shock and love. Admirers posted clips of his most cherished songs, their voices joining in a digital chorus of hope. Meanwhile, speculation swirled. Some wondered if the seriousness of his condition would prompt a rare public appearance by the royals at his bedside. Others questioned whether Letizia, known for her deep emotional intelligence and ability to connect with people in crisis, might play a more active role in rallying public support for him. In moments like this, the image of the Spanish monarchy transforms. The king and queen, often seen as formal symbols of national unity, become instead a grieving couple, their vulnerability visible. They are, in essence, living the same human experience as millions of their citizens, the fear of losing someone dear. That universality of emotion is what drew so many to follow every update, every glimpse of the motorcade, every whispered report from inside the hospital. Jaime Anglada's journey to this point had been one of resilience and authenticity. Born and raised in Palma de Mallorca, his love for music blossomed early. By the 1990s, he had carved out a niche for himself with heartfelt lyrics and a voice that seemed to carry the soul of the Mediterranean. His work often spoke of love, loss, and the intricate beauty of everyday life. It was this very authenticity that resonated so strongly with Letizia and Felipe. Over the years, they had quietly attended some of his performances, blending into the audience or slipping in backstage to share a moment away from the glare of cameras. Now, the thought of losing that voice was unbearable. In Madrid, preparations were being made for the King and Queen's discreet arrival. Hospital security was heightened, and a carefully coordinated plan ensured their visit to Anglada could be made without disrupting his care. Inside the hospital, close friends and family had gathered, their expressions a blend of hope and exhaustion. For them, the royal arrival was not about spectacle, it was about solidarity. As Letizia and Felipe entered, the usual formalities melted away. There were no official photographers, no carefully rehearsed greetings. Only hushed voices, warm embraces, and the shared weight of uncertainty. What followed in the hours after their visit remained largely private, but those close to the scene spoke of the comfort their presence brought, not just to Anglada, but to everyone who loved him. This moment, unfiltered and unpublicized, spoke volumes about the kind of friendship that exists beyond titles and public duties. And as news of their visit inevitably leaked, it deepened the public's respect for the royals' capacity for loyalty and compassion. In a world where celebrity and monarchy often feel distant from ordinary struggles, this story was different. It was real, it was raw, and it was happening now. The days ahead would be uncertain. For Jaime Anglada, the fight was far from over. For Letizia and Felipe, the balance between public obligation and personal loyalty would continue to be tested. But in this moment, as Spain watched, they stood not as monarchs, but as friends, friends who had dropped everything to be where they were most needed. And perhaps that, more than any state ceremony or diplomatic triumph, is what will be remembered about this summer. Because when crowns are set aside and royal schedules torn up, what remains is the oldest truth of all, that love, loyalty, and friendship are the greatest powers we possess. As the Spanish nation holds its breath and fans around the world send their prayers, one question lingers in the air. When faced with the sudden fragility of life, how far would you go for a friend? From the sun-dappled streets of Palma de Mallorca to the glittering halls of Madrid's royal palace, Jaime Anglada's journey has been nothing short of extraordinary. Born in the early 1960s in a humble household, Anglada grew up surrounded by the vibrant culture of the Balearic Islands. Music, for him, was not a mere pastime but a lifeline, a language through which he could express the unspoken truths of human existence. His early years were marked by a passion for guitar and songwriting, a gift that would later lead him to become one of Spain's most beloved singer-songwriters, admired not only for his artistry but for his soul. It was in the mid-1990s that Anglada's unique voice began to resonate beyond the island shores. His breakout album, filled with poetic ballads and heartfelt lyrics, caught the attention of critics and music lovers alike. Yet, despite his rising fame, Anglada never succumbed to the trappings of celebrity culture. He remained fiercely independent, often choosing intimate venues and small festivals over stadium tours, seeking authenticity over commercial success. This grounded approach won him a loyal fanbase and the respect of peers across Spain's music scene. Amid this burgeoning career, fate would intertwine Jaime Anglada's life with that of Letizia Ortiz Roquesolano, a young journalist on the cusp of her own transformation. Before ascending to the Spanish throne, Letizia was known for her sharp intellect and compassionate reporting, qualities that would one day shape her role as queen. But long before the crown, she was a woman who cherished genuine connections, and music was a key part of that world. Their paths crossed during one of Anglada's performances in Madrid. Letizia, always drawn to artistic sincerity, found in Anglada a kindred spirit, a storyteller whose music mirrored the complexities she sought to capture in her journalism. Over time, their acquaintanceship blossomed into a deep friendship. The two shared conversations about life, the pressures of public expectation, and the search for meaning amid chaos. For Letizia, Anglada was more than a musician, he was a trusted companion in a world that often demanded masks and facades. King Felipe VI, Letizia's husband, initially an observer to this friendship, soon came to appreciate Anglada's warmth and honesty. Felipe, raised within the strict protocols of monarchy, found in Anglada a refreshing perspective, a man unafraid to speak truth through art, grounded yet profoundly human. The three formed a quiet circle, bound by mutual respect and trust, often meeting in private dinners where music and candid conversation flowed freely. This circle was a sanctuary, a space where the weight of monarchy could be momentarily set aside. It is perhaps this very sanctuary that made the news of Anglada's sudden illness so devastating. The very foundation of their private world trembled. As Letizia and Felipe raced back to Spain, the nation watched with bated breath. The Spanish media, known for its intricate dance with the royal family, alternating between scrutiny and adoration, handled the news with a rare delicacy. Headlines balanced respect for privacy with the undeniable public interest. Journalists delved into Anglada's career highlights, reminding the nation of the songs that had become part of Spain's cultural fabric. Social media amplified the emotional atmosphere. Fans shared memories of Anglada's concerts, the lyrics that had comforted them through difficult times, and the moments when his music had seemed to speak directly to their souls. Tributes poured in from fellow artists, some recalling how Anglada had quietly supported their careers, others highlighting his generosity and humility. The collective outpouring painted a portrait not just of a beloved musician, but of a man whose life had touched many in profound ways. In the corridors of the hospital where Anglada was receiving treatment, the atmosphere was somber but infused with hope. Medical staff worked tirelessly, while friends and family stood vigil. The presence of King Felipe and Queen Letizia brought a quiet strength. Though the royals are often associated with pomp and circumstance, in moments like these, their role is fundamentally human, caregivers in a circle of love and concern. The dynamics within the palace shifted. Advisors and courtiers, accustomed to orchestrating public appearances and diplomatic engagements, now focused on privacy and support. The king and queen cancelled several official events, sending ripples through Spain's social calendar. Their absence was keenly felt but understood. This was a reminder that beneath the regalia and statecraft, monarchs are people too, vulnerable, compassionate, and deeply connected to those they hold dear. Yet, the significance of this event extends beyond personal tragedy. Jaime Anglada's illness and the royal response have ignited a broader conversation about health, vulnerability, and the role of public figures in times of crisis. Spain, like many countries, grapples with the balance between respecting privacy and satisfying public curiosity. The royals' decision to step back from official duties to focus on their friend underscores the profound importance of empathy in leadership. Historically, monarchs have been symbols of strength and continuity, often expected to appear invincible. But Letizia and Felipe's actions reveal a modern monarchy, one that embraces the full spectrum of human experience. Their return from vacation, abrupt and unplanned, stands as a testament to the power of friendship and the prioritization of personal values over public image. This moment also invites reflection on the changing nature of the Spanish monarchy itself. Since Felipe's accession to the throne in 2014, there has been a conscious effort to modernize and humanize the royal family's public persona. Queen Letizia, in particular, has emerged as a figure of empathy, intelligence, and cultural awareness. Her background as a journalist informs her approach, always seeking truth, connection, and understanding. Jaime Anglada's role within this narrative is emblematic. He is more than a musician caught in the glare of royal attention. He is a symbol of authenticity that resonates deeply with the values the king and queen aspire to embody. Their friendship transcends the usual royal associations, bridging worlds of art, media, and monarchy with genuine affection. As Spain continues to watch and wait, the story invites all of us to consider our own relationships, the fragility of life, and the ties that bind us. The unexpected interruption of a royal vacation for a friend's crisis serves as a poignant reminder. No matter our status or position, we are united by our shared humanity.